they're making the same mistake they always make. They're making the same mistake they make every time. When he fought Wilder, it was Wilder AJ, and he overturned him. When he beat Zhang, it was supposed to be Wilder Zhang, but he overturned him. They're making the same mistake they make every time. But it's great.
Andy Lee boldly claims that Joseph Parker's intelligence will outclass Daniel Dubois' raw power, proving brains really can beat brawn in the heavyweight division.
You hear this, Andy, as the trainer, right? You're the one that has to get Joseph ready for this guy. And it is a new Daniel Dubois that we are seeing.
We know what Daniel has, a great jab, great power, speed, somewhat, maybe not as fast as Joe, hand speed, not as good as footwork as Joe. And what Joe has is intelligence. He's a clever, clever fighter, and that's how we diffuse the power of Deontay Wilder.
Andy Lee has been candid about his charge, Joseph Parker's chances against Daniel Dubois, with the two men set to clash in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on February 22nd, 2025. The build-up to the bout has been filled with varying opinions on how the fight will unfold. For Lee, the key to Parker's success lies in his boxing intelligence, a trait he believes will ultimately give him the edge over Dubois.
I think once the fight comes there, he'll be trained for the fight, and he'll be focused on Joe. I hope he's focused on Joe. I hope he is, because I know Joe can win either way. Even if he is or isn't like overlooking him, I know Joe can beat Dubois. But it's an interesting one because subconsciously, once that's set in your mind, you're always looking ahead. So whatever. If he is, he is. If he's not, I don't care about it really. Just focus on my man and getting him ready for it.
You're 100% confident Joseph Parker becomes a two-time world heavyweight champion?
Yeah. Parker is entering the fight with a solid run of form behind him. His recent victories, including impressive wins over Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, have reinvigorated his career, and Lee is quick to highlight Parker's boxing IQ as his greatest strength. Lee points out that it is Parker's cleverness inside the ring that allowed him to outthink the heavy-handed Wilder and to outmaneuver Zhang, despite the challenges they presented. He also notes that Parker's added size, which has become more evident since he linked up with Lee, should not be underestimated.
About Joe Joyce, what happened?
I was sick.
What happened there?
And what about Joe Joyce for you? What happened there?
It's different. It's different. My fight
different. I went in there, right? He should have knocked me out in the first round.
Yeah.
I was sick. And went 11 rounds.
Do you expect this to be a tough challenge?
I'll rise to the occasion, whatever it is. I'll be better than him in every department: strength, speed, and yeah.
This emphasis on intelligence and strategy is crucial, especially given the power that Dubois possesses. With a record of 22 wins, 2 losses, and 21 knockouts, the Brit has earned a reputation as one of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight division. Having already challenged the current heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, Dubois is coming off a career-best win against Anthony Joshua, where he produced a stunning 5th-round knockout. Despite these accolades, Lee remains confident that his fighter's cerebral approach to boxing will serve him well against the younger, more physically imposing Dubois.
And now what he has, which people are underestimating as well, he has added size. I've felt it every day in the pads. And you're going to see it, you're going to see it, you're going to see it. And I'll be just building away, myself, Andy and George has been.
In the run-up to the fight, many pundits and analysts have offered their own insights into how they believe the bout will play out. Derek Chisora has been vocal about his support for Dubois, predicting that the younger fighter will prevail. Chisora argues that Dubois' strength and determination will prove too much for Parker, suggesting that the New Zealander may struggle to cope with the power that Dubois brings. He believes that Dubois, having undergone significant improvements in recent years, is now a more complete fighter and that he wants it more than Parker. Chisora's prediction paints Dubois as the man to beat in this matchup.
This is Parker next month in Riyadh. Who do you think wins that fight?
My money's on Daniel.
Do you reckon he stops Joseph Parker?
I believe he's got everything to stop Joseph Parker because he's stronger and he wants it more. He's on the road right now. There's nothing can stop him right now.
On the other hand, Tony Bellew has expressed a more balanced view, acknowledging Dubois' power, but also offering his praise for Parker's punching ability. Bellew contends that while Dubois has a dangerous knockout punch, Parker's strength is often underestimated. In fact, Bellew goes as far as to say that Parker hits harder than Usyk, the current heavyweight king, a statement that adds an extra layer of intrigue to the fight. However, Bellew does concede that Parker may have a more difficult time against Dubois due to his opponent's youthful energy, momentum, and knockout capabilities.
Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois aside, is the most informed heavyweight in the world. Yeah, both of them in
without-
great form,
mate,
to be fair, yeah.
If anything, I think actually Joseph Parker is in better form than Daniel Dubois, because that spree of fights of Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang.
Yeah, great.
Let's just look at it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous, because Zhilei Zhang was undefeated, in my opinion, until he faced Joseph Parker.
He's becoming a bit of a giant killer, Joseph Parker,
Mate,
really, isn't he?
He really has, and I've got to give
Daniel
him...
Dubois next on the list for him, yeah.
It's a potential.
Despite the contrasting opinions, others have been more inclined to back Parker, underscoring his technical prowess and adaptability in the ring. Adam Smith, a close associate of Parker's camp, has also highlighted the New Zealander's preparation for the fight. According to Smith, Parker is in peak physical condition and has been sharpening his skills with his top-tier training team. While acknowledging Dubois' recent momentum, Smith is confident that Parker's experience and mental readiness will prove decisive on the night. Smith believes that the former world champion's ability to stay composed under pressure will be key to his chances of success, suggesting that Parker's experience in the ring and ability to handle the intensity of big occasions could ultimately lead him to victory.
Yeah, second one. No soft touch here. Joseph Parker's in the form of his life. Andy Lee has been amazing for him. I spoke to Joe on my podcast a couple of days ago, and he is just absolutely bang up for this. He's put a bit of muscle on. He's got George Lockhart with him. He's got Andy Lee. He's got a great team. Obviously, one of the nicest people in boxing. Daniel Dubois has got the momentum and the confidence now. It's fantastic being around him. He came back from a holiday in Brazil, super sharp. I saw him on the pads, maybe in his first or second training session back, and he looked incredible.
Another heavyweight who has sparred with both men, Martin Bacol, shares a similar sentiment, offering his insight into what makes Parker a dangerous opponent for Dubois. Bacol, who has faced both fighters in training, draws attention to Parker's superior boxing intelligence and movement. In his view, Dubois' raw power is undoubtedly a threat, but he believes that Parker's ability to box smartly, avoid big punches, and implement a strategy will allow him to outlast Dubois, especially if the fight goes the distance. Bacol points out that Dubois is a fighter who relies heavily on his power to end the fight quickly, but Parker's ability to neutralize this threat through intelligence and ringcraft could allow him to gain control as the fight progresses.
Beat the champion who's going to win the fight between Dubois and Parker, and I'll see what will be next.
Who would you rather fight out of Dubois and Parker?
The winner. So I think Parker will win the fight. I think that's my opinion. But the winner of
Eddie Hearn, who has worked closely with Parker throughout his career, offers his perspective on the matchup as well. He believes that Parker's style is tailor-made to counter Dubois' aggressive approach. Hearn admits that Dubois' knockout power is a force to be reckoned with, but he emphasizes that Parker's ability to remain patient and avoid being caught by the big punches will be crucial. He is confident that Parker's ring intelligence and adaptability will allow him to impose his will and frustrate Dubois. Hearn also notes that Parker's conditioning and mental approach could be pivotal, as he expects Dubois to struggle with the strategy and discipline that Parker brings to the table.
You know, I mean, I'm kind of like Joseph's unofficial promoter. He's a mate of mine. I love him, and I think he's going to win.
Been fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's just taking it really seriously. You know, I think all fighters just find that moment where they say, I'm going to work harder, I'm going to be smarter. And Joseph, every time you see him, he looks strong. You know, and he's worked really, really hard. I think, by all accounts, I don't know him, but you know, his strength and conditioning trainer, I think it's George Lockhart. You know, has made a massive difference to, you know, his engine. And now I think he's taking it seriously. I think he's in the form of his career, and I think he's got the kind of style that will really trouble.
Chris Algieri echoes these sentiments, noting that Dubois' power is his greatest asset, but Parker's strategic thinking and adaptability could prove too much for the Brit. Algieri suggests that Parker's ability to control the pace of the fight and adjust his tactics on the fly could frustrate Dubois, especially if the young fighter finds it difficult to land his big punches. Algieri believes that while Dubois is certainly capable of knocking Parker out, the fight will likely play out over a longer distance, where Parker's experience and intelligence will give him the advantage.
It's a really tough fight for Dubois. Not an easy route for anyone in the heavyweight division, this new version of Joseph Parker. The guy's got a very good chin. He's got a great gas tank, good motor. He knows how to fight punchers. He's coming off of two humongous punchers in Wilder and Zhang. Granted, Wilder didn't fight the fight, doesn't look to himself, but Zhang sure did. Zhang dropped him twice. Parker got up and outboxed him. He's a very, very capable guy in there, even a heavyweight. He's a big guy, too. People forget. Yes, he's a technician. Yes, he's kind of crafty and will outmaneuver you. but he's big enough, durable enough to deal with these super heavyweight guys and a big punch like Dubois. Very, very tough fight. Good matchup.
Dave Allen initially leaned toward Parker's victory in the fight. Allen acknowledges the improvements Dubois has made, particularly in his technical boxing skills, but ultimately believes that Parker's superior boxing ability and ring intelligence will be enough to secure the win. Allen argues that while power is important, it is Parker's ability to think strategically and outbox Dubois that will prove decisive. He believes that Dubois will struggle to deal with Parker's discipline and intelligence, particularly if the fight stretches into the later rounds.
I could see Parker beating him on points, yeah. But Dubois is getting bigger and stronger all the time. Like, Dubois is a different kettle of fish now 2 years ago. So, you know, when it only takes one fight to paint a picture, like, I used to be known as one of the hardest men in British boxing. Yeah? I pull out in the corner against Fraser Clark. I'm a quitter on this and that. You know, you go from one of the hardest men in British boxing to a quitter overnight. But I used to look at Dubois and go, he's got a bit of quitting in him. He's a bit chinny out. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not anymore, is he? Like, he's walked through Hergovich, walked through Miller, walked through Joshua.
Carl Froch offers a more measured perspective, acknowledging Dubois' strengths but favoring Parker due to his adaptability and technical ability. Froch points out that while Dubois has shown impressive knockout power, Parker has demonstrated the ability to adjust his strategy and frustrate opponents. Froch notes that Parker's movement and defense will be critical in avoiding Dubois' heavy punches, and if Parker can establish his game plan early, he will likely frustrate the younger fighter. Froch also adds that Parker's resilience and ability to absorb pressure have been demonstrated in past fights, making him a formidable opponent for Dubois.
I think a Joseph Parker fight is bigger than Parker, naturally bigger. He punches hard on him, but Parker's on a couple of decent wins. Yeah, beat Zhang, he beat Deontay Wilder. They're good wins in good form. Do you know what I mean? He's looking like he's really getting his second win in his career. So if Dubois can beat Joseph Parker after the wipeout job against AJ, he really has established himself as a bona fide world champion.
Yeah.
So, and it's a fight that will be good because you never know because Parker's got all that, he's got bags of experience.
Yeah.
Sean Porter leans toward a Dubois victory, suggesting that the young British fighter's power and improved skills will be enough to overcome Parker's experience. Porter believes that Dubois' physical strength, combined with his growing ring awareness, will allow him to weather any challenges Parker might present. While Porter recognizes Parker's intelligence and ability to think on his feet, he ultimately believes that Dubois' raw power and momentum will see him through to victory.
He's fought Gerald Miller, Philip Hergovich, Anthony Joshua, and now fighting Joseph Parker within 18 months. He's only 27 years old.
Love it. I love that he's been busy. His fight with Joshua wasn't a big bruiser, so you know, coming back, and especially coming back against Parker is that's a really good fight for him. I think it's a fight that he'll win, but it's a good boxing match. You know, and then like I always say, more than anything, I want to see good boxing matches.
I think that what's been incredible with Daniel was, you know, years ago he got stopped by Joe Joyce. A lot of people labelled him a quitter. Same thing happened in the Usyk fight.
He had to grow up. You know. And listen, this is what we know about heavyweights. They mature later than in the other weight class. You know, so he matured a little later, and I think he's grown through some of his growing pains. And the worst thing for a fighter is you see our growing pains.
Amir Khan believes that Dubois is the favorite going into the fight, primarily due to his knockout power and confidence. Khan has followed Dubois' career closely and notes that the Brit's recent wins, including his victory over Philip Hergovich, have been dominant and indicative of his growing confidence. Khan suggests that Dubois will have the upper hand against Parker, citing his physicality and aggressive approach as key factors in the matchup. However, Khan does recognize that Parker is a skilled fighter and that the fight is not as one-sided as it might appear, acknowledging that Parker could still pose a serious threat.
I like Dubois, man. Dubois a beast. Honestly, I said that from when he fought against Hergovich. I said that, yo, who is this kid, man? I go, this kid's good. And I remember watching that live, and I like the way he fought and how he puts his punches together and how strong he is, and the way he took those fighters apart. Obviously, he's coming off a great win against Anthony Joshua. He's gonna have more confidence. So yeah, I think I got Dubois going in that fight winning.
Joe Joyce, who has faced both Dubois and Parker in the ring, provides a unique insight into the contest. Joyce, who defeated Dubois in a thrilling and hard-fought battle in 2020, suggests that the early rounds will be crucial in determining the outcome. Joyce believes that the fighter who can land the first significant blow and establish their game plan early will gain the upper hand. Drawing from his own experience of facing Dubois, Joyce suggests that Parker's ability to control the tempo of the fight will be key, particularly if he can avoid Dubois' early storm and frustrate him with his movement and technical skill.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Like, obviously Dubois hits hard. He's come from like more, I don't know, he stepped up, but then also Parker as well. Like they've both come along and they've both like been in big fights. So yeah, I'm really excited to see who gets the win.
Yeah, they've both been on really good form recently. The past year or two.
Both got different attributes, but see, may the best.
Dave Coldwell has been vocal in his defense of Parker, arguing that the New Zealander is being seriously underestimated by many in the build-up to the clash. Coldwell believes that Parker possesses all the necessary tools to outclass Dubois and secure the victory. He points to Parker's superior technical boxing skills and vast experience as factors that will give him the edge over Dubois' raw power. Coldwell's analysis challenges the narrative that Dubois is the clear favorite, instead suggesting that Parker's diverse skill set will allow him to outthink and outmaneuver his opponent.
Parker Dubois. I fancy Parker is not an underdog in this fight. Everyone makes out as though he's a massive underdog. I'm not saying Dubois can't beat him or isn't going to beat him, but I'm saying what I can see so many ways how so many assets that Parker has that can cause Dubois a lot of problems. And if Parker wins, I'm not going to be shocked.
Zhilei Zhang has offered an interesting shift in perspective. Initially, Zhang believed Dubois would retain his title, but after further reflection, he has revised his opinion and now considers the fight to be a genuine 50-50 matchup. Zhang acknowledges that Dubois' power is a significant threat, but also sees Parker's adaptability and experience as potential game changers. His updated viewpoint underscores the unpredictability of the contest and the fact that both fighters possess attributes that could tip the scales in their favor.
Oh, it's a hard predict, because I think this is a truly 50-50 fight, and I like both of these fighters. I think if I have to say something, I'll tell Dubois to come there and don't be overlooking Joseph Parker.
And Nick Campbell has also weighed in on the stylistic contrast between the two fighters. Campbell believes that both Dubois and Parker are in top form and that the fight could go either way depending on who can implement their game plan more effectively. He acknowledges that Parker has proven himself against top fighters like Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, but he also emphasizes that Dubois' raw power is a serious threat that could make the difference.
I think if you need to be honest about it, listen, Joe's a really good friend of mine, but if I want to be impartial, I want to pass comment on things, and I want to, I need to be honest about it. It is a 50-50 fight. I think you look at both guys' momentum, like you just said, Dubois has been unbelievable in his last 3 fights, 3 big wins. You look at Joe's last 2 fights, especially Wilder and Zhang, 2 unbelievable wins, 2 great performances. I think if you look at both fighters, they're both pretty opposing characters, pretty polar opposite really in their personality, the way they go about things, their journey so far.
Paulie Malignaggi shares concerns about Dubois' ability to deal with Parker's adaptability. Malignaggi suggests that while Dubois has been effective against aggressive opponents, Parker's technical skills and movement could cause problems for the Brit. He notes that if Dubois is unable to adjust to Parker's strategy, he could struggle to land his big shots and find himself on the back foot. This perspective highlights the potential for Parker's intelligence and footwork to frustrate Dubois and keep him from executing his game plan.
Oh, gee, that's a good question. It's probably, you're looking at a multi-layered fighter when it comes to Parker. I think you're going to have to, Dubois is going to have to show us something that we may not have seen in him. We know he's got this reputation as an explosive, bulky type of fighter who can create highlight reel knockouts, but I think he's going to have to show some of the IQ, if there is any, there, and that's going to expose whether there is any or not. And if he's able to beat Parker because he's going to have to show this IQ in this fight, then we're going to be able to check off another one of the boxes in terms of how we rate Dubois and say, okay, he's even higher and even better level than we've given him credit so far. It's another one of those check marks that you can say, okay.
As the fight between Joseph Parker and Daniel Dubois approaches, the division of opinion remains as wide as ever. The clash promises to be a compelling contest between 2 heavyweight fighters with contrasting styles. So what are your thoughts about about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.